Welcome back to a new episode of the Backholder Pod. So today we're going to discuss about something very contentious. It's about the US debt ceiling. It's all over the place on the internet. Everybody's talking about how the US, how Janet Yellen just gave a warning, and by June of 2023, the US might actually run out of money to service its debt. So what exactly is happening, and is it concerning for the markets or as investors or not? So maybe I'll just point over to Kelvin. What's your whole take or the overview of this entire US debt ceiling problem?
So the debt ceiling is just a ceiling where the government can borrow money. This thing is an ongoing thing. The debt ceiling is an imaginary line drawn by the government. Back in January, the government actually hit the debt ceiling already, but slow the holding down by suspending investments in some pension funds while continue to borrow from investors. But this has just shifted the goalpost to June, which is like next month, 3 weeks time. Then by then, if they still have not solved this issue or like raised the debt ceiling, they would be unable to borrow money anymore. And I guess they would run into trouble. They almost ran into trouble was back in 2011 when the Barack Obama was still the president. The Republicans were unwilling to give way. So that triggered like a credit downgrade from credit rating agencies and that spooked the market a little. So I guess this thing is here again. Everyone is trying to see what happens this time. Will the Republican give way again, or will they just remove the debt ceiling altogether? But I just want to throw this to Bunti. What do you think about this whole debt ceiling? Should they just remove this whole fake thing?
Yeah. So US politics is totally different compared to many countries. This is a unique thing about US politics is that they, like you say, it is imaginary, and then they come up with this line. Actually, you don't need, right? Because imagine like people buy government bonds, they believe that this is a risk-free rate or risk-free bonds, right? Government will never bankrupt because they can borrow unlimited amount. They just need to borrow because government can increase the tax however they like and so on. They have so much power and they have so much land, right? Very hard to imagine that government can just issue bonds and then by the time it mature, then they just say, oh, I don't have money to pay, then I go bankrupt. I mean, for smaller emerging markets, yes, that's possible. But United States, the wealthiest, greatest country in the world, just say bankrupt, then bankrupt. It cannot be that like a Joker said that. Cannot be, right? But they have this. So I'll say that there are people who already suggested that they should get rid of the entire debt ceiling thing and just let the thing run, right? Like if you really want to control your debt, you better control it at the point of spending and not like, okay, you promise a lot of spending, you want to do this project, that project, and then suddenly you block the treasury from issuing bonds because there's this imaginary line, right? So I think it's very stupid, but I don't think this thing will go away soon. The reason is because this debt ceiling thing is always something like, both sides of their parties, right? They use this as an avenue to say, okay, I want to negotiate. I want to get something in return. So there will be a parties to say, usually it's the Republican parties that they want to reduce the spending and so on. So they take this as an opportunity. It has been like this for a number of years. I think this will continue. So every time when they hit the limit, they will be just back and forth, and that's just part of the game.
So it looks like I check out the Wikipedia, right? I think there was like a lot of times that they increased the debt ceiling. Right? Like if you look at the whole history, right? There's like don't know how many hundreds or 200s times they increase ceiling. Then every 2 years since 2002, it has been increasing. Like every other year, they will come and say, hey, can we increase the debt ceiling? But it looks like it's not going to stop anytime soon. So I don't know. As market watchers, what do you think? Are you timing the market, Kelvin?
No lah. I'm sure both the Republican and the Democrat want this problem to go away. It's just that like Pundi said, the Republican is using this as a negotiating piece to get what they want. And for now, what they want is for the Democrat to not spend money like not just anyhow throw money around. So they want to limit their budget spending. And that's the good thing and the bad thing about US. Is that US is this whole free market thing, right? Everything has to be voted to get anything done. And that's why you have problems like gun laws, insurance laws, tax filing laws, and everything is so messed up in US lah. That's why this whole problem is here. But in Singapore, it's like if the government want to get something done, right, they just directly pass it around and get it around.
The current debt ceiling numbers, right, is I recall $31 trillion. I just want to like test you all. So you guys know that what's the rate of increase of US debt ceiling or not? Or let's put it this way. Now it's 2023. The debt is about 31 trillion. Do you think 2033, which is 10 years from now, what will be the US debt level? Anyone want to have a guess?
Kevin has left the room.
Too difficult.
Okay, my guess, 31
Yeah.
trillion. I would say 61.
Wow, you guys all so good, all got
Double
study
lah.
one, is it?
No, never. It's a guess lah. As in,
Yeah. Actually, it's very accurate. I have to thumbs up to both of you and not to Kelvin. Kelvin kind of like give up already, is it? Or you want to guess?
What's that?
What's your guess?
Guess what?
2033, 10 years from now, what is US debt numbers?
or Eric, you go and Google search.
This one.
Lousy lah.
You see, this is the history. So this middle column, right? This middle column is the debt ceiling. Billions of dollars started from, I think, just before the World War II. 49 billion. So increase all the way until now is 31 trillion. So guess the next 10 years.
But what's the point of guessing?
No, I actually the answer, just give the answer first. Okay, it will be about 60 trillions. So what happened is that if you look at the past history, right, every 10 years, US debt will double. So, and you think about it, after 10 years, it becomes 60, another 10 years become 120 trillion, another 10 years become, 240 trillions. So this one is quite accurate one. You just do exponential modeling, right? It's quite close one. So the thing is, now we are like, not we lah, I mean US lawmakers, they are trying to debate on whether they want to increase or not, and they will back and forth, and they will finally approve an increase. I don't know how much, how many trillion, I don't know, but just that is talking about like the upcoming one, right? Talking about this year, how much they're going to increase it, and it will last for don't know how long, right? Could be, I don't know how many years it could last. But this is very, very short term. Longer term, right? When we talk about like 10 years, which is not even super long, just this 10 years, we know that it's going to become like 60 trillion, another 10 years become 120 trillions. So the big picture, right, doesn't move. We can all focus on the short term and debate about what's going to happen. What can Republican win something to assure their voters that, okay, they did their part and so on. So all this is just wayang to me. So big picture wise, the debt is going to increase. After 10 years, we can watch back this video and see whether it matched the prediction or not. So the numbers will be about 60 trillions. I just want to paint the big picture, not just focus on the short term.
So what's the conclusion of this big picture? 60, 120, 240, sooner or later, because it's exponential increase, the doubling, compounding also works in that way. So in a way, after trillion, then I don't know what's the next number. What's the next counting thing?
The thing is this, we don't know what will happen, but we know, let's say you go back to 10 years ago when the debt level is 16 trillion. I tell you 10 years later, which is now, it will be 30 trillions. Back then, if we discuss this, you would think that, so much, because I'm just looking at like 16 trillion.
So, okay, correct. I totally agree. So then the fundamental assumption here is it doesn't matter what's the number because it's all arbitrary. It can be 10,000 trillion in the next time. What I'm saying is the essence, which is the underlying logic where you're spending more than you're saving and now you're printing money. This whole logical idea of the US government being able to just do it that way, right? Is there a fallacy? Like, is it logical? Does it make sense for it to continue running this way? Or would something break or whatever? I'm just trying to challenge the logic here.
Yeah, I won't see it as like, is there any logic out of it? The thing is, this is how it works. Everything expands. It's like the universe. Everything just expands. So you just need to understand this is what it is. If you say that 30 trillion becomes 60 trillion, something will break, right? why when it becomes from
No, I'm
16
not.
trillion
I'm
become
not.
30, why
Yeah,
nothing
that's
break?
why I'm not. That's why I'm not
Yeah.
claiming that.
So I'm
I'm not
saying
claiming
that
that
that's
perspective.
why I'm saying that all this can be big numbers, but the chances is nothing will break. Things will just run
Right.
as per
So,
normal.
but my conclusion, at least from my own perspective as a young world citizen, right, is that if USD or just paper money in this way can just keep printing, right, then evidently there is not much value to it, right? In a way, because they just print and
Just
print and prints, ma.
just follow Munger's advice. Over the next 100 years, all currency depreciate by 99.9%. So that should be the assumptions. All this monetary stuff, it will expand, it will deflate, okay? But what is not going to deflate is the real values. Real values as in like your ability,
Your
your
expertise, your
capability, your
competencies,
expertise,
correct.
competency, all
Okay.
those things. Yeah.
Very
Or
good.
even you have a house, HDB can still, people can still live in it. There's some real value of that, regardless of what is the nominal amount or nominal value in the future. Yeah. So we digress. Sorry. Come back to the topic.
So
No,
about the breaking thing, sorry, Ziking. About the breaking thing, I think the whole reason US haven't defaulted on their debt yet is because it's their own debt lah. They can't possibly default on their own debt. But while other countries default on their debt is because it's someone else's currency. So if like it's back to the whole reserve currency thing, right? If other countries start to transact in non-US dollar, then eventually US have to use other countries' money. And that's where I see that this could possibly break because they would default on possibly China yuan. Then China will be like, oh shit, that's how we defeat you, the kind of thing.
Yeah, this is the thing, right? Because like you said exactly, you're right. They can print their own currency. They cannot print other countries' currency. So this is really the situation faced by quite a number of emerging countries. For example, like Sri Lanka, they have US debt. So now they can print their own local currency, but they cannot print USD. So they will have problems. But this is the denominations of the debt. This one maybe is separate topic compared to the reserve currency. So it's different.
I just wanted to also kind of say why like I was talking about the other viewpoint the other time. Because I think as personal finance people, right, like even though we don't proclaim to be like experts or whatever, but we kind of know there's a few fundamental truths to just money and how to lead a better quality of life, right? Spend below your means, save more money, have low burn rate, etc., etc. But evidently, when we look at how the world works, it doesn't work that way. Like there is a totally different logic on how world powers are functioning on another level. So of course, I'm not going to draw equivalents saying that countries and normal individuals are different. So even companies, they take on huge amount of debts to kind of service their growth rates and whatever. So it's a different ball game. But I'm just saying that like in the really, 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 really long term, I'm not too sure how this will plan out. I'm not investing in that way, saying that I'm betting the USD is rubbish, I'll go all in gold or something. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying that some of these like viewpoints or arguments around Bitcoin, around gold, right? It's very convincing, like when you hear all these enthusiasts talk about it, it's very, very convincing. But of course, I don't want to just reject all of them. And there are merits to the argument, but yeah, like what Bunti said, that's how the world works. We are nothing, we can't move the system. We just follow the system and play with the system. So yeah, hope. Eric, any ending thoughts or discussions to this?
I think the thing that most people are interested in, right, is that how this debt ceiling thing will affect the market short term. Yeah, will it take away or inject liquidity? Will it cause the market to have a knee-jerk reaction, like a short plunge or a rally, because the market is happy that debt ceiling is raised inevitably? I don't know. I think
What do you think? What's your prediction? What do you think?
My prediction is there'll be some travailing in the market. There'll be like, some anguish going on. Like, oh no, are they gonna raise it? Are they not gonna raise it? At the back of everybody's mind, they're gonna raise it, but we're just gonna like pretend to anguish over the whole decision.
I think the process can be ugly in between. For example, like I think during Obama times also they shut down the government agency, just closed door, not opening for business. What's your prediction or expectations of how ugly can it get? So just want to get opinion.
I don't think this time around you'll get ugly at all though. Like the
But Biden just announced his presidency for the next round though. So they might make it not very nice for him though.
Are you serious? He's what?
Yeah.
Like
Oh, you didn't? I
what?
think he announced 2024, I think.
I
He
think
announced his...
he needs to stop, man.
So he will fight Trump.
What do you mean?
Like these people, like they are a bit too old for president, right?
Actually,
Got
old
wisdom,
doesn't
what?
okay.
Age
Old
is-
doesn't mean not capable. I just draw a comparison against Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. I mean we probably don't have much time to cover a lot of all these, you know, like the Berkshire Hathaway annual shareholder meeting, but I still spend, you know, like quite some time to quite and listen all these conversations. But my take is that although they are like, you know, 90 plus years, but still very sharp, you know, like even when he's slowing down his answer, right, you know that there's things behind. Like, you know, he's trying to tone down his voice for certain topics, certain sensitive topics. So he in terms of his brain, right, in terms of his reasoning, you can sense that it's still working fine, you know. So I think age is not a problem, but I think, okay, this one is individual.
Biden, I don't
Yeah.
think he's so sharp.
Who you are talking about, Biden? Or
Talking
you're
about Biden. He's talking
okay.
about Biden.
He's not that sharp, yeah. So I don't know.
He fell down, right, from bicycle.
Yeah.
No, but I don't think he's the one really making all the decisions though. It's a team one. Like for all presidents out there, it's all a team. So it really depends on the core competencies of like people, the real like advisors or the ones. I don't know. I wouldn't call them puppet masters lah, but people behind doing all the analysis, research, and people updating him. Because he is one man, he doesn't have all the time in the world to look at all the decisions. So it's always like when it reaches him, it's probably very important or very urgent. So then when it comes to him, then there's a team of advisors. So then it really depends on, I guess, the core team. But I don't know how you guys think of the last 3 years of what has transpired in the US. But yeah, back to thing. But Biden, I think he re-announced he's running for the next one again. And I think the Democrats will let
opposition?
him run.
Who's the opposition?
Trump lah, Trump.
Trump did say that he wants to run again, but I think there are a few candidates because they have to go through the internal thing again. Yeah, correct. So
I just checked. Joe Biden is 80 years old. Trump is 76. Putin is 70 years old. Xi Jinping, I think he's 69. So
youngest of the bunch. The most aggressive.
69 is the youngest. Wow.
So age is not a factor lah.
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay, I think for this whole thing, I think that's about it for the US debt ceiling. I think in the short term wise, right, like Eric said, right, we all know at the back of our minds it's gonna be increased. But if there is any short term volatility, especially for people short term trading, like you have a very short time frame, right? If you're expecting I think the bigger issue here is we don't know whether after the US debt ceiling is raised, will it bounce? But whenever there's volatility, like if the market tanks go down because of the US debt ceiling, it might present a decent opportunity for you to trade. I'm hedging my words here, but I'm just saying that please be careful because US debt ceiling is not the only thing in the market. There are a lot of more things in the market. So even if the stock market plunge, even if the debt ceiling increase, some other factors might bring it down again. I'm not too sure, but just take it with a pinch of salt. I'm the most bearish out of the 4 of them. So yeah, do whatever you guys think it's correct. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the discussion and we'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.